they did a huge thing, like a big research just came out, I think a couple days ago, how creatine actually improves Alzheimer's.
Alzheimer's, yeah, I just saw that one.
You saw that?
I sent that to my brother-in-law who's a neurologist. I have to hear back from him, but yeah.
My mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's
So many elderly
3 months
people,
ago.
so many elderly people.
It's really sad. And so I'm really always on the lookout for anything that can just give her like
That study was
0.01%
super
advantage.
promising. Yeah, it was really promising.
All right, you guys, we're here for another Fitness Friday program. That program
Should have got
episode.
another F in there. Fun.
I know. Fitness Friday fun. I know. And Liron's joining me yet again. And we pick a topic and we just blab for a few minutes and then we cut it. So remember, guys, very important. We love feedback on Habits and Hustle. The more feedback, the better. Please let us know what you think. If there's something you want us to talk about, all the things. And don't forget to subscribe. With that being said, what do you think what do you think? What do you think about the topic that I just chose, which is supplements?
Supplements. I mean, the basic thing, and I think people know this, most people know this, but if you don't, just good to remind yourself, is you kind of want a pyramid. Think of maybe a 3-tiered pyramid, and you want the foundation, the fundamentals to be training and nutrition, and then as you go up, sleep, or maybe sleep is the foundation. You can play around with the bottom, but either way, the top is supplements, meaning the smallest part of the pyramid, the last thing you focus on after you've got everything else together, should be supplements. They're kind of icing on the cake.
Yes.
And they should be done in moderation.
Yeah, well, I don't even think done in moderation. I think it's supplemental. I think the word supplements,
literally by definition,
by definition of what supplements are is supplemental.
Yeah.
It doesn't take the place of eating properly and eating well and with a lot of different nutrients that our bodies crave and need. It doesn't take the place of exercise. It doesn't take the place of sleep. It helps with overall, your overall. And by the way, a lot of these supplements don't do anything. I think we're living in a time when we are all chasing youth, and longevity has become such a huge brand in itself that people keep on creating these products that actually have zero there's no FDA regulation on any of these things. There's zero efficacy on these things. And so I believe that people need to be super, super careful of where and who they're getting their information and do their research, because a ton of supplements that come my way, I'm are you kidding me? It's snake oil.
Yeah.
There's certain things I think are really good, but I know the source. And I think that there are certain supplements that are essential because we can't get it in our foods necessarily, or it's or that I've like I said, I think they're doing a very specific thing. But overall, I mean, you can't just be taking everything willy-nilly.
Yeah.
So this is the stuff that I think is really important. Are you ready? And then I want to hear your list. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think that omega-3 is really important. I think vitamin D with K2 has to be taken together, or it's not going to do what you need it to do. It won't digest, absorb. I think that creatine is very important. It's not just for bodybuilders anymore. And I believe, protein, that's not really a supplement. And I also do take NAD. I take True Niagen. And the reason why I've been taking that is because it's a molecule that our bodies actually make that we actually stop making as I think after the age of 30 as we age. But what this does, it's a precursor. So it basically tells your body, basically you take the supplement, but it gets your body to make it on its own.
That's always a better show.
Way better thing.
Way better thing to do. Yeah.
Than just taking something that's a supplement on, that's it.
Yeah.
And so a lot of these other things are complete, I hate to say it, completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
And it's just you're throwing your money down the drain.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think?
Should I riff on those specifically, or talk about what I...
No, I want to hear what you take.
So right now, I am actually taking creatine.
You don't always take it?
No.
Why?
So creatine is a great supplement. I think it's the most, we've spoken about this
Most
before.
researched
The most researched supplement ever.
ever. And a
And
new
not just for bodybuilders at all. I think bodybuilding and sports is like a small fraction of that.
I want to say one thing about creatine because I just read this study yesterday. They did a huge thing for how, like a big research has just came out, I think a couple days ago, how creatine actually improves Alzheimer's.
Alzheimer's, yeah, I just saw that one.
You saw
I
that?
sent that to my brother-in-law who's a neurologist. I have to hear back from him, but yeah.
My mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's
So many elderly
months
people,
ago.
so many elderly people.
It's really sad. And so I'm really always on the lookout for anything that can like just like give her like a
That study was
0.01%
super
advantage.
promising. Yeah, it was really promising. The creatine Alzheimer's studies, if people are into studies, to check that one out. That was really, I looked that up. That was really promising.
No, so let me just say that again for people because I think this is really important. If you know of somebody or if you have any type of, I shouldn't even say that. What I should say is just forget about the muscle for lean muscle mass. Forget about performance. Let's put that aside. If you're somebody who just wants to have overall better brain health, it helps with your memory and overall cognitive skills. You should start taking creatine.
Yeah.
You should start taking it.
Yeah.
Because I think it's very, very helpful.
Yeah.
But I would say also, and that's not me, that's the study that we saw. Yeah. But I do think also knowing where you're getting it from, very important.
Yeah, some of them have like heavy metals and stuff in them.
Well, you have to make sure, this is another thing. If you're going to take any supplements, make sure they're third-party tested. Make sure that they have a really high regulation. So I take Momentous because they have an NSF regulation and they're third party tested, which means I think NSF is like the highest you can have. And so it's a trusted source. So if you don't want to, I don't care what brand you take, but make sure you're not just taking some like, brand that you saw on Instagram that your favorite influencer is taking because who knows, they can be getting paid for it. You never know. And I also think that if you're going for creatine, have you heard of whitewash versus acid wash?
No.
I think that's what it's called. I'm not sure, but the one the Momentous one it's Crea Pure, I think it is. It's whitewash. I don't even know what that means exactly, but I listened to Dr. Stacy Sims and she said that's very important.
Okay. Well, I'll take Dr. Stacy Sims word for it.
Yeah. So I also interrupted you. I'm sorry. Tell me what you take.
I'm not sure exactly where I was, but creatine I take. And I think with things like creatine, what's awesome about creatine is because it's such a foundational building block of like everything in our body because it's part of the energy system, the ATP system. Anyway, don't want to go too far into the science and I also don't know it that well.
Right.
But I know it's a foundational kind of building block for a lot of your, processes in the body. So it has multiple benefits, like all boats rise with the tide. It's not just for muscles. It's not just for your brain. It's not just for your
right.
energy. It's not just for, they give it to women to increase their baby's birth weight.
Are you talking about creatine still?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So when you have a supplement, my point is that when you have a supplement that does just these really wide-ranging benefits, chances are it's because your body is supposed to have it naturally. And if you were eating as nature intended, you probably wouldn't need to supplement so much because
you can find creatine, I believe, like you get it in meat, right? Red meat.
That's what I'm saying.
Right?
Red
like
meat,
you can get a lot of these things. I mean,
people don't eat enough red meat.
People don't eat enough protein, but the other thing, I find this also, I kind of like I was remiss. I also forgot. I also take at night, not in the morning. I take magnesium.
Yeah.
Because
again, same thing. Same thing. It does like everything. It does. Yeah. I don't think there's anything that you could mention that magnesium doesn't enhance if you're low in it and you supplement with it, that it doesn't improve. Digestive health, energy, skin, hair, and nails, sleep obviously is the big one that most people take magnesium for. So,
but I want to say something also. So wait, you take magnesium?
I take magnesium too, yes.
Okay. So you take magnesium, you take creatine?
Yeah.
Anything else?
I think that's about it. Actually, alpha GPC, it's a form of choline.
Why do
which
you
is
take that?
naturally present in eggs. So it helps with brain performance. If you were to eat a diet rich in choline, which I think eggs and liver are like some of the main sources, you probably wouldn't
Need it?
need it as much, but I'm just not eating as much as I usually do. So I'm supplementing with alpha GPC. It's for brain health, essentially.
See, this is the thing. Like you can talk
Brain
to.
performance.
There's so many different things out there that say that they're for brain health,
Yeah.
but do they really help brain health? Like I have a reason for taking everything. I take like the True Niagen for recovery and for energy and cellular health. I take my vitamin D for. I mean, I think everyone takes vitamin D at this point.
Yeah.
I take omega. I mean, I take
I
omega
don't take
3.
vitamin D, by the way.
You don't?
No.
Why?
Because I get a lot of sunlight.
So that's interesting. So they say even with sunlight, because we live
Some
in
people
California.
are low. Like my wife is low and she's much lighter than me, so it should be easy for her to get it.
You know what I will
But
say?
she's low. Yeah, I'm not.
I'm going to say something else that I think it's important for people to make sure before they even supplement to get it blood panel.
Yeah, she just
to
got
see
her blood
where
work
you're
done, yeah.
deficient.
Yeah.
Don't just randomly, oh, okay, willy nilly just start taking something, because you may think that you need vitamin D, but not need it, or you may think you don't need something and then need it.
Yeah.
And then also get retested again in 6 months.
To see if it's working or your supplements
Yeah.
actually being absorbed. Yeah.
To see if your supplements are even being absorbed, or if now you might be over the limit that you should be. That's what happened with me in vitamin D. I was taking the 5,000 ICUs like everyone says to take, and then I was taking it for so long that when I got my blood back, they were like, actually, you're taking too much of it. You got to back off.
Yeah,
that.
it can be toxic in high enough doses.
can be
Most
toxic.
people are just low because, again, it goes back to nature. Like, we are not meant to be indoors all the time. Like, in nature, you're very rarely indoors. And we've evolved for a natural living. So, in our society, in modern Western world, we're indoors.
Yeah.
And that's why we need to supplement with D. And darker skinned people are going to need a lot more. If you're darker skinned and you're living in a colder place, if you're dark and you're living in Europe, Western Europe, or you're living in New York, you're going to need a lot more vitamin D than other people. So there's a you're working with nature is my point. You should be working with nature, and you should learn a little bit about how nature works and use that as a springboard for your
I think that's too,
supplementation.
honestly, no offense, but I think that's a little complicated to work with nature and know how nature works. That's not really how most people would.
No, they don't, but I think it would fix a lot of
Or
problems.
why don't you just be kind of in tune with where you have symptoms. If you feel tired all the time or lethargic, maybe then you should get a test to see like what you're really low in. Maybe it's because you're maybe I'm not a doctor,
But you
I'm saying, like,
intuitively already do this. Like, I know you walk everywhere.
I walk everywhere.
That's being in tune with your nature.
No, that's because I don't like to sit still, and I think better when I move. And so I walk and
But that's
do my
instinctual.
phone calls.
You're listening to your body.
True.
Yeah.
And so I think better when I walk. And that's the other thing. And what's the other reason why I like to walk? I like my mood.
Yeah.
My mood. Most important thing. Because if I don't move for an extended period of time, my mood dips. My energy dips. Energy begets energy. Like, the more I move, the more energy I have. The less I move, the less energy I have. That's why when people say they don't they're too tired to exercise, I never understand that, because if you actually exercise, you will feel way more energetic afterwards.
That's a big problem people have, is they think they need to give energy to work out. And
Yeah.
it's fundamental difference in how fit people see working out and how non-fit, meaning people who don't have the habit of working out, see fitness, is that they think they need to go to the gym to give energy. And we know that you go to the gym to get energy. There's energy in you. It's there. Nobody doesn't have any energy in them.
Most of the time I work out, I'm not in the mood. I'm very rarely interested in working out. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I've got a ton of shit to do. But every single time I've
100%.
done it, I feel way better and I get more done and I have way more energy. And that workout actually wasn't as bad as I thought. It's the first 5, 10, 15 minutes that suck, but then you get into like, you know, you get into the
100%.
groove.
100%.
But okay, so let me just finish what I was saying about supplements, and I want to like stay on target here. Is that so number one, know the source that you're getting them from. Very important. Get your blood tested before you take it, so you know what you're actually deficient in, and get it retested at 6 months later. You should be getting your blood tested every 6 months just to know that you're on point. And don't over supplement. And the other thing I wanted to say was cycle your supplements, because I think your bodies can also become very. This is how I see it. Like if I take I've got really bad allergies, and if I take my allergy medication every single day, my body becomes immune to the effects of it. So it doesn't even work. I become desensitized. So I have to cycle everything. I cycle my supplements too. So I'll do like with my allergy medication, I'll do 2 weeks on, 4 days off, 2 weeks on, because if I don't take my allergy medication, it's like I'm a mess.
People have been talking about allergies a lot recently.
Yeah, well, the allergies, it's really bad right now. But you need to cycle everything. So if you're taking whatever you're supplementing with, you need to like give it a break, like 3 weeks on, 1 week off, 1 month on, 1 month off, just so your body doesn't get acclimated to anything. And I find that to be super helpful.
Yeah, there's no supplement I take 24/7, 365. I'll always take breaks from supplements if I take them.
There's also like I should say also there's other things that I kind of like weave in my routine, but I don't take it as often as I do the omega-3, the creatine, and like what was the other one? NAD. What was the other one I said? Magnesium at night. I take liposomal vitamin C once in a while, and I take NAC. Do you know what NAC is?
Something to do with your liver, isn't it?
It's like the precursor to glutathione, which is like a massively strong, best antioxidant. So I take that sometimes too.
Do you feel a difference?
No, I don't feel a difference at all with anything. But I will say that's to be true, that if I was being honest. But that to me is because I think it's like, if I was told if you take it all the time, again, like it doesn't have the same effect.
Yeah. My supplement protocol and philosophy on supplements is always constantly evolving. It's always changing. And so is the science on a lot of supplements.
Yeah, there's a lot of supplements I'm not even understand. Like I'm just like, why? But okay, well, hopefully that was a little bit informative for you guys. This is supposed to be very short, to the point episodes, so hopefully you gleaned at least a couple things. Right? Get your blood checked, cycle your supplements so your body doesn't get acclimated to it. Don't over supplement. Don't replace it with your diet and or exercise and or sleep. It's a supplement for a reason, called supplementing your stuff. And yeah, check out Liron. What's your Instagram?
At Beyond Fitness LA, BEYONDFITNESSLA.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.